Nona Me by Claire Atkins. Chapter 1, 2007. I see her across the schoolyard. It's like a ghost passing. 1 second she's there and then she's gone, trailing Mrs. Reed around the corner in the direction of the front office. Was it really her? I replay the moment, that glimpse of her determined upright walk, the set of her face, her quiet strength. A lot about her has changed, but that hasn't. It has to be her. Something jabs me in the ribs. Hello, Miss Daydream. Make that someone. Selena is waving her hand in front of my face. Rosie, you with us? Sorry. We are sitting in our usual spot, on the benches near the basketball court. Just close enough to see the boys playing, not so close that we seem desperate. It is May. The wet season has just ended and everything glows green. Selena sighs as if having to repeat herself for a small child. I was saying, do you want to get ready at my house? Anya chimes in. For Libby's party. What time? Whenever your mum can drop you into town. I hate living out at Yirrkala. It's only a 20-minute drive from town, but it might as well be a different planet. I probably can't get there till after 5. Mum will be working. Okay, but no later than that if we want to, you know what. Selena grins conspiratorially. She wants to go fridging before the party. She's tried to talk us into it before, but this time she's got an address, the house of some government guy who travels for work. He doesn't have a dog. She's insistent there's no way we'll get caught, but even the idea of it makes me nervous. I've never drunk alcohol before, let alone stolen it. I look away. My gaze drifts to the basketball court. Selena's brother, Nick, is shooting hoops with his best mate, Benny. He jumps and grabs a rebound, pausing to brush his shaggy brown hair back from his face before bouncing it back out to half-court. His long, lean body gleams with sweat. There's a slight irritation in her voice as Selena says loudly, "Can you stop perving on my brother for 1 second?" Nick is back at the hoop now. He pauses mid-shot, his blue eyes glinting with amusement. He's obviously heard. Anya giggles. I turn back to Selena, embarrassed. I'm listening. What was I saying then? 5 at the latest if we want to, you know what. She senses my reluctance and says, it's a Year 12 party. Everyone else will be drinking. Nick will be. I sneak another glance. He's bouncing the ball in a lazy figure of 8 now, laughing as Benny tries to swipe it away. I wonder if he's showing off for my benefit. So, are you in? Anya says, I am. She looks smug. We used to be good friends before Selena. They're both looking at me now, waiting. My stomach churns, but I say, yeah, of course. The bell goes. We pick up our bags and reluctantly meander to class. Selena falls in beside me. What are you going to wear then? And please don't tell me your mum's making you something. She nudges me. Well, you said don't tell you. Oh no, what is it this time? Tie-dye? Screen print? I mumble a response. Selena leans in closer. What? Tea towels. Tea towels? Her voices rise to an incredulous shriek. You can't be serious. She's sewing them together to make a dress. I have to smile. It is one of Mum's crazier designs. Selena shoots a look at Anya, who says, your mum is so out there. She's sounding more like Selena every day. Selena is laughing now. You're not really going to wear it, are you? I'll wear it as far as your house. I can't wait to see that. Then can I borrow something? If you're nice to me. Selena is always lending me clothes. She has a cupboard full of dresses by designers I've mostly never heard of. She buys them online or on her frequent family holidays to Darwin, Cairns or overseas. Her dad works at the mine. He's loaded. Anya says, why don't you just tell your mum you want to buy a dress? I glare at her. She knows the answer. I can't bring myself to tell Mum I don't want her to sew clothes for me anymore. She's been doing it since I was little. It's her way of convincing herself I'm not a neglected single-parent child. I used to love her creations, but lately I've felt like it's a tradition I've outgrown. We move into the history classroom and take our seats. It goes Anya, Selena, me. Miss Fuller writes in big letters on the board, then turns to face us. Federation. Why do teachers always do that? It's up there in capital letters. We can read. There's a knock at the door, and then Mrs. Reed is showing her in. It is her. I knew it. It's Nona. I want to jump up and hug her, but I stay glued to my seat. Nona raises her dark eyes and locates me in the sea of uniformed students. She gives me a shy smile. I feel Selena turn in the seat next to me. I don't need to look to see her disbelieving expression. You know her? Nona is wearing a basketball singlet, stretchy purple shorts, and worn white thongs. Her legs are tall, black and skinny. Her feet look tough. On her arms, I notice a few dark scars near her shoulders and wonder what they're from. Her long, wavy hair is freshly washed and tied back in a careful ponytail. She could be any young girl in this school, but she's not. There's only one desk empty, so she sits up the front. Mrs. Reed smiles warmly at the class. Everyone, this is Nona. She's joining 10B. She's just moved back here from Elcho Island. Please make her feel welcome. She gives Nona a reassuring nod. You need anything, just come and see me. Nona nods back and Mrs. Reed heads out. Miss Fuller smiles at Nona, then launches into a spiel about federation. It's obvious she's practiced this at home. Miss Fuller is young and enthusiastic, a fresh recruit from Melbourne. Probably came straight from university to Nullenby. She could have done worse than a remote mining town, I guess. She could have been posted to a community school like Yirrkala. Miss Fuller hands out comprehension sheets instructing us to pick out the key dates and put them on a timeline. She hesitates at Nona's desk, then squats down next to her, lowering her voice. Do you want to do this? If you don't want to, I can give you an exercise to do with Luke and Ali. Ali has just arrived here. He's from Iraq. Until now, Luke has been the only Yolngu kid in our class. Miss Fuller sets special tasks for them because their English isn't great. Half the time, Luke's away. The rest, he sits there, silent. Sometimes he just walks out. Miss Fuller never asks him where he's going or tells him to come back. She's out of her depth when it comes to Luke. Ali smiles at Nona, but Luke just keeps staring out the window. I can see one of his skinny feet tapping to an unheard beat. I wonder if Nona and Luke are related, and if so, how? Nona reaches out and takes the comprehension sheet. Miss Fuller smiles nervously. Okay, great. She gives Nona a pen and paper. Nona's voice used to be full of laughter, like even her insides were grinning. But now it comes out soft and flat. You got a pencil? Sorry? Pencil. Oh, yes, sure. Miss Fuller gets her one. Selina smirks. She writes on the side of her exercise book, nudging it over so I can read. What are we, in primary school? I force a smile. I tell myself the words are harmless, just a joke. I watch Nona as she starts to work. She begins by colouring in the holes in the letters, the A's, the O's, the D's, the E's. By the end of the lesson, they are all filled in. I lean forward and see she's also drawn in the left margin, decorating it with swirls and, are they turtles? I can't quite make it out from my desk. It's beautiful though, shades of grey-lead ocean. Selina catches me looking and underlines her previous words. Primary school. Miss Fuller passes Nona and sees what she's doing. I wait for a reaction, but our teacher just nods and smiles and walks on. Selina whispers, Can you imagine if one of us did that? Selina always talks like that. Us and them. Napaki and Yolngu. She's right though. If a Napaki kid, a non-Aboriginal kid, did that, Miss Fuller would be telling them to start working or to stay and do it in detention. Selina articulates the question this time. You know her? I want to say yes. I want to say, she's my sister. She was my best friend. But I know Selina would find that crazy, and I don't want to explain. So I say, she knows my mum. From the art centre? I nod, convincing myself it's easier this way. The bell goes, and we throw our timelines onto Miss Fuller's desk as we stream out to our next classes. Selina moves off. She chose Cert 1 in business as an elective, which is ridiculous. She hates anything to do with maths and thinks the only function of the economy is to determine how much stuff from the US costs online. But her old man said she should do it, so she did. And Anya chose it because Selina did. I couldn't bring myself to study something I'd never use. I figured hospitality at least might help me get a job in town once I get my P's. I feel someone touch my arm. I look down and see a dark brown hand, long fingernails, a pale palm. I hear her voice say, Yapa, sister, and suddenly I'm 6 years old again. We're in my bedroom, holding hands. I look up at Nona. Mum said you were back. Got here last week. Are you living at your grandma's? Nona shakes her head. In bed at Jimmy, my auntie's house. You remember Tina? She just had a baby, a little boy. We're living with them, me, my mum and the Smalls. I smile at the mention of her two little sisters. They're only a couple of years younger than us, but we always called them the Smalls to make ourselves feel bigger. Nona smiles shyly back at me. There is so much to say, so much I want to know, but I can feel Selina and Anya watching us. They're standing outside their classroom, waiting to go in. Selina makes eye contact and frowns, as if to say, What are you doing? I remember what school was like before she came. Me and Anya, always on the periphery, not a real group, just two loners clinging desperately together. It was years ago, but it was yesterday. I feel sick. I turn back to Nona. My words come out abruptly. I'd better go. See you around. I see Nona's face fall, confusion, and then I'm walking away. I can hear a voice in my head, chicken shit, but I keep walking. The school bus is a cool, air-conditioned bubble. Outside, trimmed green lawns blur into bush as we leave town. There's only a handful of us now. Most of the Napaki kids get off in Nullumbee. For the drive to Yirrkala, it's just a handful of kids from the primary school, and me, Aidan, Matty and Dadam from the high school. Dadam and Matty are in year 7. The two girls sit in front of us, swinging their legs, Yolngu and Napaki, side by side. They remind me of how things used to be with Nona. I'm almost jealous of their easy companionship. Dadam listens attentively as Matty discusses the virtues of various hairstyles. I can do plaits on other people, but I can't do them on myself. I need Mum to do them, or Dad, but he's not as good. She swivels around to face her brother, who's sitting beside me. Is Mum back from her bush trip today, Aidan? Aidan doesn't hear. He has headphones on. His hazel eyes are staring out the window. The volume is up so loud I can hear the music from where I'm sitting beside him. I peer at his iPod display. It says, "When the War is Over" by Cold Chisel. Matty waves a hand in front of his face. Aidan! He removes one earbud. Is Mum getting home today? Yeah. Their parents are rangers. They moved here from some desert community 5 years ago. Aidan jams the earbud back in and returns to his window gazing. Not the most talkative guy, Aidan. Still, I'm grateful for his company. It saves me from sitting alone. I hate being alone. I always feel so conspicuous, like I've got some huge sign on my head that says, "Loser for life." And even if Aidan's not super popular, sitting next to him is almost cool because he's in the year above me. There's only one road from town to Yirrkala. It is fairly nondescript, almost imperceptible undulations of bitumen and curves of terracotta dirt, eucalypts punctuated by cycads and the odd termite mound, signs to the Nullumbee Tip, the motocross speedway and the gun club. I must drive it down it 1,000 times a year, but today every patch of scrub is etched with memories. There's the turn-off to Rainbow Cliff, where we painted ourselves in Gapan, smearing the white and orange clay on our bodies in made-up designs. And the airport road that took us to weekend swims at Goanna Lagoon, and the spot where I first tasted guku, sweet bush honey scooped straight from the tree into my waiting mouth. Like the road, all my memories lead in one direction, Nona. There's a crest in the road where it arcs over the cut red earth of the bauxite mine. From there, the drive is straight and flat. We're close to home now. The parade of signs begins. Welcome to Yirrkala. Don't drink and drive. Carver licence area. Go slow. Kids around. You are now on Aboriginal land. Do you have your access permit? The bus slows as we turn left into the community. I see that familiar glimpse of gleaming turquoise ocean, palm trees swaying in the breeze. We pass Nona's old house. It is low-slung, clad in blue corrugated iron. A concrete veranda stained with years of dirt and the sweat of living. Her grandmother, Ripipi, lives there still, with a crush of relatives I no longer know. We turn right up Balnguma Road, drive up the hill past Teachers' Row and lurch to a stop outside Yirrkala School. I stand and say bye to Aidan, but he hardly registers my farewell. He's off in another, more musical world. I walk up the aisle, thank Tony the driver, and get off. The heat engulfs me. I walk home, over the crest of the hill, scanning the horizon as I walk. The ocean reaches far into the distance, as if trying to hold hands with the sky. I can't see any fishing trawlers out today.